Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Yasmin and today I'm going to be doing something a little different. This is the Archer and Olive B5 planner that's dated. Now it comes with 14 months of dated planner pages and it starts November 2025. Now we are in April and the way I wanted to use this planner for work was I had a few ideas of this, what I can do. It's a bound planner. I wasn't going to start it until February when I went back to work after having my son. And I wrote little notes. I was like, what can I do for the November to February pages? So I'm just flipping through and showing you exactly what it looks like. This is the monthly pages, which is nice, but I wouldn't do anything really with it. And I'm not a fan of like gluing it together or cutting it out just because I don't need it, because it is, I don't know, I'm not sure, maybe because it already has print on it. There's something for you to see. Everything tells a story. Like I have all those things going on in my head. So I have 5 examples that I want to walk you through. Let me grab my pen. My favorite one is not in front of me. So this right now is my favorite pen right now is the Sarasa Mark-On from Zebra. It's supposed to be smear proof, that you can write it, you can highlight and it won't smudge. But so I have 5 examples that I want to like show you how I would use it. Now, as you can see, this is a dated planner, but I had already covered this up because I was going to use it in a fashion that I'm going to show you how I was going to try to use it now. So the first example, right, would be to leave the number on here and just put week 6, right? And then put the highlights for that week, right? And then you have a little bit for every single week so that you can keep track. Sometimes I felt like whenever I had something going on with big bosses, they were like, and when did that happen? I feel like if I write it down here, I'm like, oh, I think that happened in April. Let me go take a look. And I'll be able to have all these highlights in one space, like a screenshot of those kinds of things. So I'm going to do an example with you here. And what I'm going to do is like the whole thing. I'm going to do the example. And what I'm going to do is I just randomly picked this highlighter because I like the every other highlight. Yep, even for my example, I like the every other highlight. Because I feel like it keeps me in line. With these dot grids. Now I prefer dot grid over lines over grid or over graph grid, but and I will be having to do this in like several different parts because I have my newborn and I'm on demand for the next few months with him. So if he wakes up and say, "Hey mom, come get me," I pause you guys, I pause these videos, grab him, deal with whatever I have to deal with, and then go from there. So let's say we had, hopefully that's all dry. So let's say week 6 would have been, let's say 211. So 211 supervisors. And we highlighted new protocols. So I'm just going to write new. And let's say we need two calls per, right? 2 calls per agent. So we're going to go sale and service, right? That's going to be one highlight. Then the next thing could be a deadline. So let's say 2/16 deadline. Pick best desk contest. These are not real things. These are just things I'm making up. Then I also want to put what ideas I come up with, right? And then I would put idea generation, or I would probably start with that. Like, let's say, so week 7, I would want to put ideas, right? And then here I would put add left message disposition, right? And that's just me making sure that during our meeting, if I have something to write, I'm going to write it there. And then I'm going to start with the actual meeting notes. Now, this is not going to be my full meeting notes. These are just going to be the highlights. I'm going to probably chicken scratch my reading notes somewhere else and get crazy. Another thing I would do is, let's say if there's something that's urgent, I would put like need Saturday coverage. And then what I would do is I would probably merge that into my weekly things and stuff like that. But I would know that this is something that needs to be taken care of or reviewed. These are things that I could just probably check off, like I did it per person, and I'm like putting that in my new system for the for my weeks. So that's how I thought I would be using this planner in this way. Now, as you can see, like I said, these pages have everything covered. So here is what I would have put for a few other things. And the one thing I was going to use this for was for coworker details. And with this, it's because I'm a supervisor, it's not gossip. And I thought it would be like, I don't know, I had feelings about it, but like, I will be right back. All right, guys. So hours later, and what I'm going to do is, in my mind, I thought I had to do this all in one shot. And what I am going to do now is I am going to actually do this at one tip at a time. Okay. So I already did the first tip, which was weekly highlights, right? And now this one, we're going to go ahead and just highlight a little bit. Ooh, why do I feel rushed? I need to calm down. Just relax. Just relax. You saw that? It was like all crazy. It went over. I think my adrenaline was up when I sat down. So here is what I want to put here is a different kind of highlight. It's going to be an employee highlight. Because I was a supervisor, I had to always, not always. I feel like I had great recall when it comes to people. When I meet people, I remember small details that they include in their conversations with me, no matter what it is. It could be, you know, my grandmother used to make me pudding, right? Or whatever. The next time I speak to you, I may say, "How's your grandma doing?" Because you brought them up, I feel like they're an important person to you, or it's an important thing. Therefore, I will recall it. After I got after I gave birth, after I found out I was pregnant. Oh my goodness, did that change? I would remember after I had a conversation with somebody, whether it was like, "Oh, my daughter's graduating," and it's like, "Oh, that's beautiful, that's wonderful, great," and then I would speak to them and I wouldn't even bring it up, and that was so frustrating to me. So I'm going to use different names, different scenarios, and things like that. So like here, I would put Monica, right? Monica is who I would talk about in this column here. Here would be Ross. And it could be anybody. And like the Monica could be the vice president, right? And Ross is the president. And Joey is a customer service rep. So I would do it like that, right? I want to know who they are. I may not remember their titles and things like that. This is great for when you're starting a new job. I should put it like this, right? But that's how I write. I'm sorry. So that's how I would do it. I like the second line highlight always. I think it's just pretty. It's beautiful on the eyes. So here I would put again for my own. These are my own notes, right? So I would put neat freak, right? She probably said something to me about her desk or somebody moving her pen or whatever. Loves pens, right? So that's how I would do it, right? Let's say she is excited to go to Europe. So I would do that. Then maybe I'll ask more questions like, when are you going to Europe? Who are you going with? Things like that. The next time I have an interaction with them. Um, Ross, maybe he tells me he's engaged. I want to highlight these. Do I like this color? I do. We're gonna alternate the colors on here. I'm not gonna do so many because I want to give you guys this example. And this is not gossip. This is really just touching points based on, the things that the information that they gave me. So it would be like 2-year-old son. Maybe he's engaged, and I'll just put that there. And then when the next time that they tell me, and it'll be maybe the next time he speaks to me and he tells me her name is Emma, something like that. That was horrible. But like I can always go back and be like, how's everything with that? And it's not that I'm not interested. It's just that ever since the baby, I feel like I lack that part of me that I love doing that. I love having that conversation with people. I loved um making those connections when I speak to somebody. It's not every conversation is not just a singular conversation. It's like, no, I'm going to connect our last conversation to this one because I paid attention, and I normally do. I have like this great recall, and it came natural to me. And now I don't feel it as natural, so I felt like I would have needed this time around. So that is tip number 2. Just having something that goes on here that shows you um people's the things that you spoke to them about. Not some now remind you, this is what they told me, right? I don't want to put, oh well, you know, Joey told me that Monica, I don't know, cleans the kitchen every time she goes to the break room. That's that. I don't need to know that. Like my neat freak thing here is because she's like, somebody move my pens. I like things where I have them, and I see her every morning wiping down her desk like as if somebody else was using it. That is why I would put that. This is not for gossip. So I just want to, make that clear. And I felt like I did this in my head, but now I have to do it on paper because of, you know, the drama that's going on in there, the rewiring that happens after you have a baby. Um, Contact list. So that's the other thing. And these next three tips are probably more things that will help you if you're like your first time working, and that would be an employee tree, right? So you would have who's the vice president, who's the um you know, who's the CEO, what's the company's names, things like that. That's one of the other ways that I would probably use this. Um, a contact list. I would definitely use this for a contact list where it's like, um, let's see, like I would put Phoebe HR, and it would be P fake at centralperk.com, right? That's how I would do it. And then let's say if I did Rachel, she's my soup, right? And it'll be r dot fake at centralperk.com. You know, I would do that. And I would list all the people, and I could put this as contacts. And again, I would probably just highlight the people's names. So I'm going to do that now. And let's see if this actually will not smear. Oh, it didn't. That's pretty cool. Oh, that one smeared a little bit. Okay. But so it would be something like that, right? And I would go down the list. That's one way that I can use these pages and, you know, not feel like they're like it would have been, guys. It would have been all of this, like quote unquote wasted paper. But I could have used this like this. Another way that you could use these is best practices, right? So how to schedule time off. So I would put probably best practices here. Right? And then time off requests. And it would be like add to Outlook. Right? Email HR and soup. follow up, right? Like that would be how I would do my time off request, right? Or where to find things. That's another thing. Like just things that I wouldn't want to ask somebody after they taught me how to do it. I would put best practices here. And things may change. So you also want to like update this, which is kind of cool. So I guess I would use these for my collection pages is what I guess bullet journal um people would actually consider them. At least that's what I've learned. So that is number 5. That would be the 5 ways that I would use these front pages. So it would be to highlight the weeks here, like here, coworker details, an employee tree, contact lists, best practices. I'm going to give you 5 bonus ones that I just want to go over and just talk to you about that maybe you could do. Oh, wait, there's another one. I did do another one. So the bonus one is this one because I did this one a while ago. This would be time blocking. Okay. Where you take, these are all post-it notes and it would be like, so what did I do on Monday? And I would just take these and I would place them there. And then when the day is over, I would write it in like that's what I did. And then I would put these post-it notes back here and then do Tuesday. Because I feel like sometimes when you're in the middle of it, you're not like, oh, let me write it in my thing. If I feel like these are the things that I normally do every day, I want to see where they go during my day. I think that's probably the best way to do it. Or honestly, you could just put it there and then the following day reflect and then go back and then write everything out. And then take these off and then start Tuesday bright and early all over again. So that you can see what your schedule really looks like for the week. So that's one way that I thought about doing this as far as when I jumped back into work. How could I I felt like I was going to be lost. So this was one of the ways that I felt like I was going to jump in and get things done. And this is one of the other ways that I would probably use these first pages as references to help me through, right? Because that's what you have your planner for. It's to be productive. It's to make sure that you don't miss too many things. So that's the reason why that's the bonus structure that I can show you. Other things that you can use these pages for would be like your why page, like your goals, your kids, things like that, your word of the year. You can reuse these, you can redate them and then use them for next year. Like you can go and you can work from here back, right? You can work here on and then just use the next few pages, like, as if this is the beginning of what, does that make sense? Like I could have started this again in January 2027 because I didn't use it. So that's another way that you could have used these. Quarterly goals and then trackers. I'm not good with trackers, so I personally can't tell you that, that's something that I've seen that works, but they're there for a reason, right? You see them all over YouTube for a reason. So that's the other way that you can use these pages. So that's what I have for you guys. And if you have any other questions, concerns, or have your own ideas as to what you would use these front pages for, please leave them in the comments. I would love to hear about it. Maybe I'll do the other 5 and show you examples of those 5. If you want to see that, please go ahead and let me know in the comments. I would love to go over that. Maybe do a little bit more decorative. Again, I'm getting out of my comfort zone to show you guys new things and communicate with you guys in my community. And just be present with you guys. So if you see the what is this called? The theme of my satire business, please leave that in the comments. What do you think? Where do these characters come from? It's great. I greatly appreciate that. If you know, you know. And if you know, I want to know that you know. Thank you so much for joining me. I greatly appreciate it. I do hope to see you guys in my next one. Bye now.